Go out, perform in anything. If you need to try new things, go out and do it. It doesn't matter if it works or not. That's not important. As long as you try, that's what matters. Yeah, and I think this is the main suggestion I can give. And also another suggestion, I think, once you start to build, your confidence,
Exactly.
you need to create your brand. I
Yeah.
mean, you need to start to be different. I marked myself from years as the Italian mentalist, all the branding everywhere,
Yeah.
and I add the value constantly, because when you add value, you can have a more, the fee can be higher. Is the way the people perceive you that is really important.
Thank you so much for joining into the process. We have a special guest all the way from Italy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Mr. Luca Volpe, did I pronounce that correctly?
yes, that's perfect, Stefan. Well, you know how to pronounce Italian because your wife is Italian.
That
So,
I didn't even tell him this. He's a
yeah,
mentalist. He's
I know
clearly a mentalist.
everything. I know
Clearly.
everything. I know
Yes.
everything. So thank you
Now,
very much, Stefan, for inviting me. I'm really happy to share some thoughts with you and see what our discussion will take us today.
well, I know that we're very busy and everything, so we'll jump straight into it. For people who aren't familiar with you and your background, could you just maybe do a quick summary about your what you're all about and maybe when you started and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I started when I was 12. I did my first show, and now I'm 52 in April. So quite a long time, I will say, on stage. And I started as a magician, of course, as every mentalist, I will suppose most of them. But then the love for mentalism started many years ago, when when I started to look at the first books, the usual Anneman, Corinne, and stuff like that. But also because I had a very good relationship with the Canton Nepper, and because my approach to mentalism was always a kind of uh, the idea of connecting people emotionally. So I created the first trilogy of books, which was called Emotional Mentalism. And with Canton, we started to experiment these new ideas, these new things. In fact, I remember the group that created the famous secret school of Canton Nepper, who were me, Peter Turner, Fraser Parker. We were that very small group of people that start to create maybe a new movements in mentalism. I started to do that emotional thing. Peter Turner with the propless ideas. So we all started, and then after a few years, we'll see now today a lot of people, going and kind of taking back these ideas and make it their own. But we started all many years ago, thanks to Kenton, which he's a real wizard.
Definitely, yes. That name is something that keeps coming up within these conversations that I have with the podcast. So definitely someone that I'll have to potentially reach out to. I'm a big fan as well of emotional mentalism, just because I think that in today's world, we don't have a lot of time to be able to exchange and connect on certain levels. So to be able to have a certain theme within mentalism where it explores a little bit more the emotional side,
Look, I don't want to pitch anything, but just
oh,
look.
definitely, yes, yes, you can pitch everything you want.
This is why I started with this.
Yes.
These are books. Resonance is called little booklet, which is really my passion, where I can finally write. They are limited to 33 copies each book. They will be 5 volumes, I think. And basically are the volumes where I can talk about these topics more openly. They're kind of borderline, but I touch everything, even the power of crystals, a beautiful question and answer act. I mean, everything which really connect people. Because like you said, today with this very fast world, and also all these apps going around and stuff, which are great, don't get me wrong, you know, all the electronics, great stuff. But I think we forgot how we, as a mentalist, how we can really connect with people. I think this is really important. Sometimes just with moving a pendulum in the middle of their hands, telling them something about them, you know, about their life, this can be really powerful more than anything else.
You know, Luca, it's really like I'm really happy having this conversation because like it's something I keep saying a little bit throughout these interviews is that over time a thread of a theme can come through, right?
Yes.
And the thing that you're explaining about how to address this subject, I find that it's something that's coming back more and more, and I'm really happy that it's something that's coming up in this conversation as well, you know? So you're saying in a world where everything goes super fast and you work in creativity, we're going to have to address that in the first steps of basically the process. So for people who aren't familiar with the show, The Process, okay, it's basically, I realized through some little bit of research that there's either consciously or subconsciously 5 steps to a creative process. Okay.
Yeah.
So step 1 would be inspiration, what people do on a day-to-day to keep, the ideas flowing. Step 2 would be incubation, how creative people set aside time in their day to be able to dive deep into the creativity. Step 3 would be illumination. So the eureka moment, basically when everything gels, comes together and the universe gifts you with the spark of an idea.
Information, where you
Exactly.
download information.
You're a vessel. You
Yes.
said the same thing. See, we say the same thing. We're a vessel. We're prepared. We receive that. And that. Step 4, it is basically exploration. After we have that idea, how do we go about are we like a butcher? Do we cut away all the fat so that we have something beautiful to present to our guests? Do you want to work alone? Do you have no problem sharing with your little ecosystem? You were just mentioning this earlier. And then step 5, certain people, for them, step 3 is enough. The eureka moment, they manage to find the key to the puzzle. Other people go all the way to step 5 in the implementation. So they want for their idea to have a life of its own.
Of course.
Exactly. So if we rewind, we're all the way to step. We go back to step 1. Exactly. Inspiration. What do you do, kind sir? It looks like I'm learning a lot about you because sometimes we see people online a lot, like, because we post our videos and stuff like that. Over time, we kind of get a little bit of a sense like, I think I would get along with that guy, or, oh yeah, I think I agree with it. And there's a lot that goes into that. Like you seem very paused. You're very calculated. You don't speed your thing. And so I'm looking forward to
I'm very Italian. That's it.
So it's fun, like with everything in the background, the crystals and the books and everything. I'm looking forward with everyone else to see, like, for you, inspiration. How do you keep that going? After you said 52 years now, I'm in April as well, 24th of April. You?
22nd.
Lord, we're both Taurus.
Almost
yeah.
there.
It's perfect. So inspiration.
Taurus. We are Taurus.
Yes.
So inspiration. So you can see behind me, you can already maybe spot some of my inspiration. Depends for what I'm working for. Because of course I do a lot of corporate shows. So when I do a lot of corporate shows, my inspiration goes to topics that normally, I need to talk for the specific company, motivational topics, all these kind of things. So I learn everything I can. In fact, my wife say, when you are in, you are all in. So what this means, if I have to study about, reaching goals, overcoming self-limiting belief, all these kind of things, I go all in and I study everything I can because in order to prepare a presentation for that specific thing.
Yes.
I love crystals. I have also certification in crystal therapy, all these kind of things. And that knowledge of crystal allow me to write books and to explore the idea of the energy connected to mentalism. And I always say to mentalists, I say, don't just focus yourself on one single thing. You know, like the horses, they have the things here they can
Yeah.
see, they only see in front, because we can get inspiration from many, many things, you know, from nature. I am also a photographer, hobbyist photographer. I like to do photography and stuff. I go around with my Leica camera, you know, when I can, and you know, just go in the nature and do a lot of pictures. Even this, for me, is a moment of meditation where I can really concentrate and get inspiration from everything. So I really think inspiration comes from everything, and you need to be open
Hmm.
to absorb everything, because
Yeah.
you never know. Maybe you look at crystals, like a very weird shape of a crystal, like a double point crystal quartz. So you
Hmm.
think about, okay, energy goes from one side, it goes to the other one. How can I do an invisible touch using this topic? You
Hmm.
know, you start to put things together, and then comes the downloading of information, like we said before, you
Yes.
know. So inspiration allow you to open your mind to absorb informations, so that you can actually create something. So you need to
Hmm.
be open to anything around you.
Yeah, for sure. So to be very receptive in a certain sense.
Yeah, I see you have nature around you,
Yes.
trees and stuff. So
Yeah. No,
I
that's
mean,
AI.
hey,
No,
AI,
no,
yes.
no, 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 I'm kidding. No, no, I'm very lucky. I just moved. Yes, it's very important for me as well. Nature and the like. Yes,
Yeah, you
definitely.
know, going around and walking, sometimes just walk without think anything. We can see anything. We can actually see anything. I remember, will share with you something I do. I create some, you know, I also have some magic books on the other side, but not magic. I mean magic with K,
Hmm.
real magic
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
because I like to read everything.
yes.
And I
Alistair
like to,
Crawley.
yeah, well, if you start to go on this, we never ends. We never ends. So basically, you know, speaking about sigil, magical sigil, the people don't know, but a sigil is the representation of a magical expression. It can be like a sentence, a motivational thing, anything that you transform in the drawing.
Hmm.
So I was actually creating stone with
Hmm.
this positive sigil, and the other side I was writing your lucky stone, and I was leaving this stone in the park or in public spaces for
Hmm.
people to take them.
Yeah,
You know, this remove completely the ego of the magician, because it's
yes,
not a trick, but it's a shared magical experience of
yes.
people that you never know what the people will do with the stone. Maybe they win a lottery and they think that was the stone. You know, anything can be possible. So if you can spread magic in everyday life, I think that's another thing which is really positive for us.
Yes, yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. And so for, let's say if we go into step two, which would be exploration, how do you take those ideas and basically set aside some time to refine them? Do you basically have like a 9 to 5 routine, or certain people they say it's a lifestyle? Whenever I have the idea, I stop everything. But certain people with families, example, they have to have a structured life. You seem to be, in a certain sense, very organized because the shows, producing
Very
material,
organized.
everything. So what would be like your structure towards that?
So my day is divided in specific hours
Hmm.
when I can, when I'm not traveling. When I'm traveling for work, it's just a mess, because, of course, you don't know flights and connection flights, it's just bananas. But most of the time, when I'm home, I have a very structured day. Okay, so wake up early, do yoga, meditation, some exercise, eating well. That's the first thing every day when I can, because I think the main thing for a performer is to take care of themselves
Hmm.
mentally and physically. I mean, that's the first thing you have to do if you want to reach any goal in life, especially if you're a performer, because you go crazy with travel and everything else. So taking care of your body and your mind is the first thing, because
Hmm.
otherwise you can channel information, you can create, because you know, if you eat bad, the mind doesn't work well and you can
It
create.
it's
So
like you're an athlete.
exactly, and that's,
Yeah.
I always talk about Novak Djokovic, because he's one of the, you know, mindset guys that I really, also I love tennis, to play tennis and stuff, but I always look at him, because this he says is that 80% is mindset,
Hmm.
20%
Yes.
It's just a physical thing.
Yeah.
But if you have the 80% mindset, structured in a way that allow you to achieve your goals, then you're done. So I always try, as I say, to structure the day in different things. I have the morning, movements, which is important. And then in the morning, I work maybe with clients, emails, meeting. I was telling you before we started this recording how crazy it was today just with the meeting, but that's what I normally do. And then I have a few hours in the afternoon where I work on creativity stuff. Now, for example, today was doing this thing with you. But normally at this time, when I can, I continue working on my resonance books because I already have planned all the volumes. I work on them, on the graphic. I shot the pictures. I make sure that's to work on this project. And then that's how the days goes. So when I have the sparkle of information, like you said, it depends. Well, the first thing I do immediately on the phone, on the note, I write the idea. Very raw idea because I need to remember, is there good? Then as soon as I can, I explore this idea.
Yeah.
And I see, okay, what can I add to this that makes this more interesting? Or if an idea, again, like I said, I see a crystal. So, okay, no, that 2-point crystal, invisible touch, energy. I just put down these ideas. Then with calm, I sit down, I look at it, and I start to work on it.
Yeah.
Same thing, like when I tell the people, I say, when you buy a trick, don't do the trick how it's explained in the instructions. Just look at it and see how you can work with. For example, if you see my releases, the TBC box, the Fox, and all this stuff, they are mainly tools.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, they come with routines.
Yes.
But I always say, don't do the routines I've written there.
Yeah, make them your own.
Make it your own. Look at the props and say, okay, what can I do with that?
Exactly.
That's, I think, is a very important process. Meditate of a use of something.
But see, there's a couple of times that you said this, and this is again something that comes back in a lot of these interviews: meditation.
Yeah.
For some reason, there seems to be a certain level where people when they want to become professional and prolific, because, like you say, you have to deliver. You're a professional, so like you're just saying, you owe it even to your participants, to your clients, to be the best that you can, to be able to give the best energy even without.
Of course, but I also say that meditation without visualization doesn't work.
Exactly.
So what this means, for example, before I show, I meditate and I visualize myself going on stage, taking the standing ovation, all this kind of thing.
And it's a replay.
And then I anchor the feelings to something.
Yes.
So it can be a stone, a lucky thing, whatever it is. And then I recall this energy, this feeling before I step on stage.
Yeah.
These are all things. If you see Tony Robbins, if you see Novak Djokovic, all these people, again, you don't need to be a magician to look up to. You don't need to look up to other magicians. You need to look up to people that are maximum achiever in what they do. Can be athletes, can be a motivational speaker, or anything. This is why I always say, open your mind, look around, don't look only magic stuff.
No, exactly, because I think that sometimes people don't realize the full potential that they really have. They look at other people and think that other people have all the answers when it's pretty much all in them if they would just maybe take the time to center themselves and explore a little bit,
Exactly.
Phase 3, eureka moment. Luca's sleeping in bed and he has the idea he has to drop everything and jump on that thing until it's done. How does that work?
Work to me under a shower. I know
that that is great.
When I'm under the shower, my brain starts to go. Maybe it's the water, the flow.
It is. I read on that recently. It's the overload of senses that you have that it creates a dissonance so that it leaves things come in.
You see, so it's not the weird things. It happened to you today. So, some people have different moments in the day where they have their eureka moment. When I go to sleep, honestly, I try not to think, otherwise I don't sleep. But under the shower happen most of the time. Because probably, you get the shower already with some ideas in your brain. So like you say, multiple senses going on, and then something sparks in your brain. Sometimes even I notice this when it's very bad weather.
Okay.
When you have this the sounds, the noise of the drops of water outside, you are
Yeah.
inside with a cup of green tea because it's good for you, good for me. So you
Hmm.
have this cup of green tea in your hand, and then you start to relax your brain. You start, and your mind starts to go, and then boom, something else pops in your mind. So it's read, or maybe you're reading an idea from another book, and then something happened. It's very difficult to say when the eureka moment happened because it's different from each one of us.
Yeah.
But personally, for me, especially in these three moments, reading a book, under the shower, and being relaxed.
And when it hits, are you able to just jot down the idea and get back to it? Because I could
Yeah,
imagine you have, yeah, multiple projects on the back burner, and then you
yes.
have the deadlines that are coming in, so that decides which one has to be pushed to the front.
Yeah, well, I have a few releases we're working on, but normally with the releases, what we do is first work on the actual props. So me and Alan Wong or Paul McGuy, what we do normally is to, each one of us has our own job.
Hmm.
So mine is more creative thing. Me and Paul, Alan build everything because I know I'm personally terrible in building stuff. So Alan, he can make prototype and then we send out, and it's kind of long process, but it's very well organized. So it's not crazy.
Hmm.
But still, when you have 5 or 6 releases coming, then
Yeah.
I produce release for other people too. So it's kind of become sometimes a little bit crazy. But yes, when I have the eureka moment, I immediately write down. If I know it's something really good,
Hmm.
well, I work immediately on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that that can be something worthwhile. For
Yeah.
example, I tell you something. Me and Paul, we're working on an idea I had a few days ago,
Uh-huh.
in which I already tested in some private performance, and is a system.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on YouTube with this, so I don't want to talk too much openly, but I will tell you later. So is a system for Mentalist that we're experimenting and is working very, very well. So, and that was an idea that was like, oh wow, shoot, I need to
Yeah.
write everything down quickly. That's one of those things, that happen suddenly, and then you need to work immediately on it.
Excellent. So then let's say the idea comes in and you want to, like you say, you develop the idea. You seem to be mentioning that you're open to work, like you have your private sessions where you could show us around. You showed things to other creators. That would land us into step 4, which is the exploration of the idea. So for that, basically, you were saying just briefly just now, you bounce that off of your team. Everyone has their specific role. It comes
Yeah.
together. In those, let's say, how many maybe would you consider having rolling at the same time, like in the back burner?
You mean how many people I talk with about?
Well, projects maybe rolling at the same time. So like in terms of
Yeah,
volume,
well, how
yeah.
many projects? Well, it depends. For example, now I'm working on Resonance, the books. I'm working on some new releases with Alan, and some of them they're still very basic. We still haven't started yet. This new project with Paul, and then I have, of course, shows I'm working on, corporate shows every time because I customize also corporate shows. For example, the new one I'm working on with this company, they want me talk about the specific topics. So I'm, learning about new things and
Mhm,
preparing new things. So it's really uh, this why going back to how you plan your day. This is very
mhm.
important because
Yeah.
otherwise you get overwhelmed. You need to. I always say, okay, from 2 to 3 in the afternoon, 1 hour, I work on the book.
Hmm.
Once I finish that hour, I close the file. It doesn't matter if I have a 5 minutes more. No, because I know that from 3 to 3:30, I need to have a break.
Hmm.
From 3:30 to 5:30, I need to work on the corporate show. I put my telephone on silent or wherever it is. I don't want to get distracted. That's another important thing.
Hmm.
Distractions. Distraction today with these telephones, the
A leash, a digital leash.
yeah, is impossible. So, I, for example, personally, I have no notification apart WhatsApp because I have a client writing me there, but Instagram, Messenger, Facebook, I completely removed from years. I never used
Hmm.
any notification. I mean, if you send me a message on Messenger
Hmm.
to see I just need to go on Messenger and see who sent me a message.
Yeah.
I removed all the notifications, all of them, because I cannot allow the phone to take time from my creativity.
No, exactly. Yeah, for sure. And for someone exactly like who was just mentioning that it's more like emotional and connectivity in regards to the performances, do you have any insight into how to present that into more a corporate world? Because I'd be surprised that maybe corporate that they'd be interested in those kind of things.
Well, it depends. There are topics from emotional mentalism, like, for example, overcoming self limiting belief. And I actually explain a beautiful routine which is called Unlock in my Vanishing Ink Masterclass,
Hmm.
which uses all the people having some numbers that open a lock, and then eventually the person on stage find the envelope that contains the right combination. So that is a concept that it goes very close to emotional mentalism because you connect them with an emotional state.
Yeah.
So that is very important. There are other routines that I do, for example, when I do close up, that connect two people together,
Hmm.
and that also are possible to, use with in a normal, I would say, more commercial settings. But there are also routines that I explain in resonance that you don't want to perform in corporate shows. You want to perform an intimate setting when the time is right.
Yeah.
They are beautiful one-to-one experiences. For example, there is an experience where I give a sealed envelope to a spectator and say, look, here there is the answer to the question you are looking for, but
Yeah.
you don't need to open now.
Hmm.
So all these kind of things, they really create a very deep connection because it goes beyond mentalism. It goes beyond the trick. In fact, what I always say, I say, if you work commercially like I do, because I do corporate stuff, there is time to do that. But when you have the possibility, forget the ego of the
Hmm.
magician. Share experience. You don't want the wow factor. You want to just
Hmm.
share experience. And I think these will last more because when the people see an impossible trick, wow, he predict the name, wow, he predict everything, wow, great. They will talk. They will talk for sure for weeks, whatever. Then they forget it. But if you can give them a mind and I will say more a deep connection
Yeah.
experience
Hmm.
connected to even a mentalism routine, that everybody change, everything change. Sorry.
Yeah.
I remember when I do my routine with the key, unlock your dream, when the people find the key that open the lock. I have a people that still have the key in their wallet, or they engrave their name on the key and they hang on their chest
Hmm.
as a memory of how they can achieve the impossible.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
if you make a meaningful, a simple trick, everything can change.
Yeah, because I think that mentalists, sometimes they don't realize the impact that they can really have with a participant, you know? Something that
Exactly.
seems very simple for us could be very touching and almost life-changing for a participant because we just don't know what's going on in their lives.
Look, I always say to the mentalist, you use a pendulum. And I say, no, but the pendulum is a stupid thing. It's just a weight on a cord and moves. I say, yeah, but the people don't know about it.
Hmm.
When the people hold the pendulum and move in their hands, they go crazy. And then when you connect an emotional feeling to a pendulum or an answer they're thinking of to a question, man, it's incredibly strong.
Well, yeah,
You really just need a pendulum and that's it.
yeah. It's not a trick at that point. It becomes something else.
It's not a trick anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's
trick
real.
anymore.
Yeah. So the last phase, basically, this is one I think that you're quite prolific, I think, is basically implementation. So
Yes.
for someone who wants to take these ideas and give them a life of its own, how
You need
long?
to.
Yeah, like how long did you like? Well, first of all, I guess what drove you to want to do that? You know, like to want to produce your own things, and then like maybe how, like you just explained also that you have a team of people, you know, and everyone recognizes their own strength, which ties in with ego. You know, like.
So, no, I produce my own things because I try to solve my own problems.
Mhm.
So I don't produce. I don't do releases for making money because my main income comes from from performing.
Mm-hmm.
When I do releases is because first I believe in them. Like when I did with the elimination deck, I work on that routine for years. And then I decided to release it because I know it works. When I did the TBC box, I did TBC box because I needed. I was on a cruise ship. I had to do some job. I'm very cryptic, because I know someone can watch this. And I needed to solve a problem. I had an IKEA box with me, and I created the gimmick on board.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah, and I created this maybe 15, 18 years ago, and become one of the greatest, the most used tool in professional performers today. I've seen on BGT, AGT, I've seen Darren Brown use it, Luke Gemay, Colin Cloud, they had like 4 of them. All biggest names, they use this idea. For me, it's not just say, oh, they use my idea. So, well, I did something good because it means that works.
Yeah.
So everything happened because solving of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I solve a problem. Other people say, oh, that's good. It solved also my problem. So my problem. So it become a release.
Yeah.
I never produce something if I don't believe it. And if I don't do for me first.
Mm-hmm.
When I did the Fox, I say to Alan, look, I really need a little folio where I can have a full half an hour show always in my pocket, because if I'm traveling and immediately I get a call and I don't have anything with me, but I have the Fox with me with all the setup for the show, I can fly from anywhere I am, even wearing these clothes, and do a full show.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a problem that became a huge release. Because because the people really understood the value of it. So that's the point, value. When I give value to my things, I know they works because it comes from solving a problem.
And you think that, would you agree that sometimes solving the problem isn't necessarily looking towards the most complicated solutions?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the easiest things, for example, this system we're working, me and Paul, is extremely simple.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely simple. But the way this system is implemented is clever.
Exactly.
So,
there's a difference between, simple doesn't not mean it's not clever.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We see the most simplest peak, like let's say the acidus novus or the stuff, this kind of thing. They're very, very simple, but they still use today. I still use it.
See,
Well,
and indeed, would basically if we go through all these steps and everything, would you have an overall recommendation for people who are looking to maybe want to have a professional career in mentalism or magic and stuff like that? What would be like maybe some overall guides for that?
Well, the overall suggestion is perform as much as you can.
Yes,
This is my first suggestion.
Yeah.
They pushed me on stage when I was 12 in front of 500 people.
Mm-hmm.
I was terrified. But that thing helped me in understanding many things. Because when you perform a lot, you learn from your mistake. You need to be open to make mistakes.
Exactly.
Because people are scared to perform because they don't want to have a mistake. They don't want to.
Yeah. You're going to grow from those.
Yeah, you grow from those mistakes. And also this will teach you to find outs.
Exactly. Solutions. Yes.
The solution. When I do my shows, I have out for everything.
Mm-hmm.
If I, for example, even if I have some electronic things, for example, in a show, I need to have the normal solution to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't rely on electronic 100%, maybe 2% in my show, and 98 on everything I can control. But this is the thing. I need to be able to do everything else, and I need to be in control.
Yeah.
And this is because of experience. And experience doesn't come for you sitting at home and writing things on the Magic Cafe. Experience happens because you go out and perform.
Yeah, in
it
real
doesn't
world.
matter if you perform with your cousin, with your friends.
No, anywhere. Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah, as much as you can.
Exactly.
And then
And
you know what?
that's
Because if you go out in public, I don't know if you agree with this. If you you basically you're one ahead all the time because a stranger does not expect for a grown adult to come and do something like right away. Second of all, if you don't succeed at the effect, do you think that they're going to have time to remember that and tell all their friends? Or if you do succeed, that it will become something that they will tell their friends, you know? There's no
yeah,
losing in that.
exactly. So there is people worry about it. So go out, perform in anything. If you need to try new things, go out and do it. It doesn't matter if it works or not. That's not important. As long as you try, that's what matters. Yeah, and I think this is the main suggestion I can give. And also another suggestion, I think, once you start to build, your confidence,
Exactly.
you need to create your brand. I
Yeah.
mean, you need to start to be different. I marked myself from years as the Italian mentalist, all the branding everywhere,
Yeah.
and I add the value constantly, because when you add the value, you can have a more. The fee can be higher. Is the way the people perceive you that is really important.
Yeah.
You
Perception
know,
becomes reality for sure.
if we look at now odds Perman, okay, just talking about odds Perman, now odds is the most paid mentalist in the world.
Mhm.
Odds and your Sushard at the moment, they are the top of everyone. But why this happened? Because with the time, they've been able to build an incredible brand. Odds now being called to do the dinner of for the United States, and whatever people think about it, we don't care. But what is important for him is that he's doing this now had moved him so high
Mhm.
that now his fee goes to the stars.
Yeah.
But that's important because he's been able to create an incredible brand. So we need to be able to decide on a brand, decide on a personality, and push this as much as we can.
Yeah, well, I think it's also a question of cultivating the brand because we were just mentioning this at the very beginning. We expect things to happen overnight, but
No.
if you plant the seed, you can't expect to rip out the fruit before it has, time to
So
grow. So you have to give yourself time.
what I'm achieving now is not what I was achieving 10 years ago or
Yeah,
20
it's
years ago.
momentum, momentum.
Exactly. You need to build on all the time and improve yourself.
Yeah,
And
yourself. Yeah,
exactly,
yourself, not the effect.
exactly. You need to
Yeah.
improve yourself. And also, I think you need to improve your knowledge all the time. Learning, like we
Yes.
said, looking at new things all the time. This is very important. Buying new tricks doesn't mean that you're better
No.
than other one else.
Yeah. Or find you take your drawer, open it up, and try to find new ways to use the existing things, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Like we were
Exactly.
just saying at the beginning, these are tools, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. You need to be able to work with anything at any time,
Yeah,
and even sometimes with nothing. I always say
definitely.
a good performer need to be able to be on stage and perform without performing.
On a closing note, 5, 10 years from now, what's happening with mentalism?
I think mentalism will be with all these EI
Yeah.
that we are going and stuff. I think mentalism and magic will be the only art form that will still exist because it needs human connections.
Hmm.
But we need to be able to make the people understand about it. And I think the paradox here is that more mentalism go forward with technology, a smart mentalist need to go backward.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree.
Because people is not stupid. People knows the technology.
Yeah.
They know everything. So the smart move, just go
Back.
back.
Yeah. So on this, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, Stefan. It was been absolutely wonderful to talk with you, and I hope people will, get something from this discussion today.
Most definitely. So all the best and looking forward to seeing your new projects come out in the rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Thank you all of you for watching.